Been having a lot of fun with Overwatch over the past couple of days, on top of the, I think, maybe 20 hours in the open beta, 10 hours in this game, so I've played it a hell of a lot. Don't think I'm going to be slowing down anytime soon, but playing it so much, I'm not getting tired of it, but I really can't help but wonder if a campaign, some sort of cooperative, story-based mode would be kind of the cherry on top of what already is a pretty great game. But I'm just kind of thinking about a campaign, and I think Blizzard's kind of been teasing it in a Q&A on Facebook. They were teasing it for a little bit, so I thought we should chat about what a campaign might bring to Overwatch and why it might be a good thing. Now, I don't think Overwatch needs a campaign in that, without it, it's a hard game to recommend, because the reality is I couldn't really recommend it enough, especially for someone that, I think if you're turned off by that aggressive competitiveness of a Call of Duty or Battlefield, and if you kind of prefer the laid-back, accessible nature of a Team Fortress 2, then Overwatch is right up your alley. I think my primary issue with Overwatch is that, it's light on game modes, and the way that it's designed, you kind of find yourself, rarely having to go back to the main menu unless you want to open loot boxes and equip new skins for your character. So you're constantly in this multiplayer loop between 3 objective-based variations, and we've got competitive play coming next month, but obviously that's for, the more hardcore player that's, I guess, intent on showcasing their skills in what will be a more broadcasted environment. It's strange because, while Overwatch is light on game modes, those game modes are kind of perfected in a way that you don't really need anything else. And I think that's why Overwatch obviously is killing it critically. It's why it's one of the year's most popular games. Probably one of this console generation's most popular games. Certainly one of the most popular games over the past few years. You've got a balanced, tight, diverse multiplayer game. It's so easy to become addicted to, but I still can't help but think, what if there was a campaign? And to be honest, I never really thought about an Overwatch campaign until Blizzard started releasing those fantastic shorts, which sort of initiated calls for a campaign from the fan base. You had game director Jeff Kaplan. He held a Q&A session on Facebook and said that they hadn't looked into a campaign right now, but it might be something that they're looking down the track. So I think that they should look into it for a number of reasons. Firstly, I just think the lore is far too good to ignore. I think if anyone knows how to do deep, intriguing lore, it's Blizzard. They've done an absolutely fantastic job exploring the backstories of the Overwatch team, of the heroes, and the world that they're based in, even without a campaign mode. These are shorts that actually made me feel far more engaged with the world than I was before I'd even watched them. Now, we saw with Destiny, that kind of had a campaign that was just there for kicks. It was kind of pointless because it didn't really explore the established lore well enough. Then there was Titanfall, which was kind of tough because it made us care about that game world. And Respawn did a really good job of explaining why the hell there were big robots dropping out of the sky. But Blizzard here kind of has the edge because its character shorts they really piled on that emotion, those relationships, that conflict between the characters, and they really do help add context to that bright, vibrant world in Overwatch. I just think a campaign would really flesh it out even more, even if it's just in the way of replicating those stories told in the shorts. I think the big challenge would be, in creating missions specifically suited to each character, because, obviously if you've played the game, you know that some characters just do not play well with others. It would be silly to kind of have 2 support characters up against, a horde of bad guys, for example. I think in that case, we probably wouldn't be able to select characters in a campaign, but I'd be okay with that, so long as there's like this cooperative experience that, is already kind of established in the multiplayer. If you don't play as a team, if you're not cooperating with your teammates, then you're probably going to lose that match. So I really think a cooperative campaign would certainly make Overwatch a little bit better. There are a few ways I also think the campaign could actually help the community along. I think it could really kind of teach players how to better use certain characters. I've had a bit of a rant about Reinhardt on this channel and how when I use him, my teammates all too often just to completely ignore him. I think that if players kind of have a better understanding of how each character works and they're used to the team, then they'll probably be more inclined to play to both of their teammates' strengths. For example, if there were a campaign mission that calls for you to take out enemies from behind Reinhardt's shield, that sort of might offer you the necessary perspective to better utilize him in a competitive match. It might also work more directly in that the campaign would focus on a specific character and their abilities, and then you may end up playing with a character you otherwise hadn't liked anyway. I think that in time you'll come to love characters you've hated anyway, but I think that the campaign can do this, is kind of introduce playstyles and techniques that you might be less likely to try out in a match, because you might have that fear of dying or losing it for your team. You've also got to think that it would just kind of give us something else to do. Now, I mentioned earlier that the idea that I could jump into a cooperative campaign with a friend, or 2 or 3 or 4 friends, that's something I think I would embrace. And I think the community would as well. I wouldn't necessarily choose it over quick play, but I guess having the option there, maybe just like a random bash with friends when you can't be bothered playing with randoms, I think that could really give Overwatch just that little extra tinge of multiplayer satisfaction. Not that it needs it, but you can never have enough of that tinge, I guess. And I think the most important reason why Overwatch needs some sort of story campaign mode, we need more cooperative shooters with a story. I think this goes without saying. And I don't mean team-based, objective-based shooters. I'm talking about cooperative campaigns against the AI with an underlying objective. A little mission structure, some sort of narrative end goal that drives me to the finish. We get it with Halo. We've had it with Call of Duty in the past. But just like some sort of cooperative story-based shooter, and Battleborn does it to a degree, but let's not talk about Battleborn, but the lore is there for Overwatch, so that's something I'd love to do. So what say you? Does Overwatch need a campaign mode? There's a poll going on at phoenixbazaar.com. I've got the link in the description. Go over and vote in that poll. Otherwise, tell me in the comments, what do you think? Does Overwatch need a campaign? Why does it need a campaign? Sound off and let me know what you think.